Hi, I'm Jessica Ardeel with the Professional Healers Institute. Thank you for tuning in to crack the code of your body's intelligence, because today's featured health expert is a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. Please welcome Tony Megna of Integrated Heights. Hi, Tony.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to speak with you. You do integrate so much into the services you provide for your clients. And before we get to that, I know a lot of people want to know, how were you first introduced to muscle testing and what led you to want to integrate it into your services?
Sure. I suppose the first time I was introduced to it was in my undergraduate study. So this was about 10 years ago. I played college football, and so I was struck with traumatic injuries and concussions and just dozens of concussions, which kind of left me riddled with health concerns. And so I was a bit shuffled along in the Western conventional medical world, and so they didn't quite have an answer. And so I began to actually seek out other options. And the first person that introduced me to muscle testing, he was basically analyzing my body and with muscle testing and giving me some insight onto some of the misalignments of my body and some of the energetic imbalances in my body. And I guess ever since then, I knew I knew I wanted to learn it. And so I graduated from the University of Wisconsin, and then I was actually looking at schools to go to Australia, which they teach the Touch for Health protocol in their undergraduate program. And well, I guess I was a bit ambitious at the time, and I didn't have the means to quite go to Australia. And then I did just a Google search on local practitioners, and just happened to find somebody that was teaching the course in my hometown in Milwaukee. And just signed up right away. And Touch for Health level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So I had gone through the 4 weekends, and with I guess from the very start, I just really took to it right away. And it was my first introduction to the meridian system, and really my first introduction to energy medicine itself. And it just really excited me about new insights about the body. They're not new, but it was new knowledge that I just really took to. And so I completed those 4 weekends over, I would say, the course of a year. And so I think you were there for some of them. And so you were a part of my introduction to applied kinesiology and manual muscle testing. And definitely I've developed a higher sensitivity for it now that I've been practicing it for about 7 or 8 years than in my first Touch for Health class. And so it is a very, very unique modality that you can gather information about the body, as well as create some of these energetic balances in the body. And it's a really profound just a profound treatment strategy that I continue to use to this day, and very grateful that I've found it.
I love that, Tony. And I love that anyone can take Touch for Health and run with it.
Yes, definitely. And I did, definitely.
And thank you for doing that, because it's really easy to take a class and forget about it, but to still utilize it and see the value and really have people have the experience of it is just warms my heart. So thank you for passing it on and all you do with that, Tony.
So after the completion of the Touch for Health, because it does involve the Chinese meridian system, it then further inspired me to go study Chinese medicine. And so then I went on to study acupuncture and got a master's degree in Oriental medicine, as well as just completing my doctorate in acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And so as I continue to run my private practice, I continue to integrate these different modalities. But in the initial intake, there is always manual muscle testing and orthopedic assessment, and the Touch for Health initial protocol is very much part of my initial intake for all the patients that I use. or that come through my clinic. And so I use these techniques, and it's a very I get quite good results, and people are receptive to it. And like I said, it's a very, very precise way to gather information about the body that you can further derive information from to kind of, I guess, specifically understand diagnostics on a deeper level in real time, without blood tests, without scans. And it's a way to further understand what's going on with somebody that's riddled with disease or some sort of condition.
It's absolutely part of the body's intelligence, and you've learned how to crack the code on that for sure. What stories come to mind, Tony, of perhaps somebody that may have been everywhere and tried everything and found you?
Yeah, so I very much, because I went through it myself with all the concussions and the head trauma, many people come to me with trauma from car accidents or sports injuries and things like that. So the manual muscle testing, very much that you can gather and further understand muscle imbalances. So when you have a car accident or a sports injury, the body kind of gets twisted up and torqued, and some muscles are overcompensating, some aren't receiving energetic output. And so we go through this, the complete, maybe the 42 muscle balance, and to gather which muscles are online, which muscles are offline. And it gives you a really good picture of the compensations in the body. And so I have many athletes that come to my office that they went to a Western doctor and they were just prescribed anti-inflammatories and even pain medications for pain of their back. And so that's not the answer. And so it's a structural problem and an energetic problem of the body. And so a lot of the athletes, as we kind of understand, okay, where is your body out of balance? And then you can make corrections off of the information that you get from the muscle tests. So a lot of athletes are, it improves their recovery time, it improves their durability in their sport, and just from a sports performance perspective, a lot of people can gain a lot of benefits from it without the chemical intervention. That's not even, I wouldn't even consider that a temporary fix, because it's just kind of tricking your nervous system not to feel the pain. But the structural and energetic disharmonies are still present. And so with this type of medicine, you're actually able to get down to the actual problem and make more significant corrections.
It's all about the quality of life, right? You're contributing to well-being for a sustained amount of time, and especially in the realm of professional athletes or, hardcore injuries like that. And with your own experience, do you feel like people have an easier time relating to and opening up to?
I think so, definitely, because a lot of times when not many Americans are familiar with Chinese medicine or even what applied kinesiology is. And very much because I've had the sports background, when athletes come to work with me, they certainly trust my opinion, and I always try to give my best opinion to everybody that I work with. And certainly when we start doing some of the muscle tests and they can't quite figure out why can't I hold this muscle up? I thought I was so strong. I think a lot of times with applied kinesiology and muscle testing, the first thing you have to get the person you're working with to understand is it's not a test of strength, and it's a neurological information. As I think Carl Ferrari uses the word neural integrity. Is the spine properly sending electricity, chi, energy out to the peripheral of the body? And this is what maybe Western medicine doesn't quite acknowledge, is this the very depth of the body is source energy, life energy, like you said, the innate intelligence about the body. And so as we, I always consider myself a teacher first, and when patients come to work with me, I certainly try to teach them to understand what we're trying to do. And but from my first point, these muscle tests, it's not a test of strength. You're gathering neurological information about the body, which makes it really, really unique.
And Tony, I'm wondering what, I know you've worked your brains off to get where you are in the Western and medical Eastern philosophies. Where do you see a place to integrate this into our culture here?
Sure. Well, certainly with in the realm of injury rehabilitation and physical therapy, and so a lot of times, well, in Western medicine, they very much like to isolate different conditions and put it into a little box and say, if your shoulder hurts, we're just going to rehab the shoulder, for example. But they often neglect the muscles that run above, into the neck, maybe in the back. There's another muscle somewhere else, even in the ankle, that can twist up and kind of pull the connective tissues away from your shoulder. And so I think giving integrating this into the Western medical field gives a more holistic approach to the body, as from an interaction standpoint, the interactions of structural, the entire muscle system is just a series of pulleys and levers. And so if you have shoulder pain, often it's coming from somewhere else. And so I think in the Western world, they very much like to say, A is A, your shoulder hurts, so we're just going to work on the shoulder. We'll give you a new shoulder. And so sometimes that's not necessarily the best way to go about it, or sometimes they're a bit aggressive. And so I think with Touch for Health and applied kinesiology and Chinese medicine, it's very much looking at the interaction of the body itself, and on all levels, physically, mentally, spiritually, and very much this can be is a very useful modality that can be applied from an orthopedic standpoint, from a physical therapy standpoint, injury rehab type standpoint, and I think it can really benefit a lot of people and really just enhance our ability to help a lot of people in pain, which is one of the number one concerns of our health system in general. So it makes it a powerful tool to gather and to help with treatments.
I appreciate you mentioning all of that, Tony. It so applies. And I'm curious if you can share a little bit. You've obviously taken this as far as you can, and I know you're going to take it further, and you're definitely a leader in this new generation of health consciousness. Sure. So thank you for that. I'm curious if there was a time where you questioned when you started to learn muscle testing, or if it just came really naturally to you as far as being clear with the results.
Sure. I think it did come natural, but I definitely had a good teacher. And over the years, as I grew as a practitioner, when I was just starting muscle testing, I was an athlete and a football player, and big, bulky weightlifter. And so I thought, I guess I developed my touch for it. And so in the sense that when you do these muscle tests, I often forget that I have a heavy hand. And so sometimes when I work with individuals, you really have to be completely engaged in with the other person, because if you try to just overpower them, then I guess the testing isn't as accurate. So I guess over the course of the past 6 or 7 years that I've been practicing muscle testing, just gaining the feel for, is a muscle locked or is it unlocked? And I think over the course of practicing Touch for Health and manual muscle testing, I think that was the biggest thing that I gained. I guess you could call it a sensitivity to the muscle tests, but I think that's the biggest thing over the course as I've gotten a little bit better at it, and my the touch has gotten a little bit more precise. It gives me more confidence to trust my findings, and there's many practitioners that can take it, can expand it very, very far. I would say I even practice a little bit more conservatively, because as you get to the edge of manual muscle testing, there are yes, you can go into the innate universal intelligence, and so some practitioners really go into that. I stay a little bit more grounded and conservative with the muscle testing, which really even further gives me more confidence to the findings.
I love that. You know, that's really important for me too, is to have something concrete and tangible to work with in this unseen realm that we're working
Right,
in, right? Um,
right. Yeah.
Tony, how can people reach out to you and connect and work with you and find out more?
Sure. So I have a small two-room clinic in Southeast Wisconsin. I have my website, Integrated Heights, which is online. I have a Facebook page. I try to stay connected on social media. You can reach out to me, integratedheights.com. All my information is on there, including my menu of different treatment strategies that I use. And as I continue to learn about health and wellness and functional medicine, the menu will expand. But very much what I practice now is the Chinese medicine, the acupuncture, the applied kinesiology, and when I was, and I guess I come from a sports medicine background, so very much exercise rehabilitation, similar to physical therapy. I can't call myself a physical therapist, but if you have an injury, definitely we can rehab it up. And there's many things that I use at my clinic, and those are some of the things that you can reach out to me, and I'll help anybody in any which way that I can.
That's what I love about you, Tony, is you're always coming from that place of heart-centered service. So thank you for always keeping that integrity in everything you do. I really admire that about you. And I'm wondering, what is the favorite part for you about the work you do?
Oh man, it's because I keep coming across practitioner. Go seek out the smartest people in the world and learn from them. So I feel like I've done that in my life, and very much there's been. I really enjoy the applied kinesiology. The acupuncture has been. I think right from the get-go, I really had a knack for the acupuncture, and from an injury standpoint, there's a lot of people that have had injuries, and those injuries remain. They linger, and Western medicine, they're not fixed with a pharmaceutical. And I very much I'm in the body restoration business. How can we restore an injury site versus just mask it? And very much, I think that I certainly think I'm onto something with it. And it's not me. It's this is just the information I've learned over the years, and just very grateful for the knowledge that I've had, and just want to continue to pass it on and just help people. And so very much like the acupuncture, I love the manual work. And so I do a lot of manual work on the skull, since I work a lot with concussions. And so sometimes the skull itself can get, the skull plates can get jammed up upon one another. And so it feels very rewarding when somebody comes in with a headache or they're dizzy, and after 20 minutes of manual work on the skull and some manual muscle testing, and it's kind of a reset to your nervous system. And then they walk out of here balanced, clear-eyed, with a smile on their face, because nobody has been able to quite help them. And I think that's what is really unique in alternative medicine, complementary medicine, integrated medicine, whatever word you'd like to use for it. We have insight for how we can help people. And I think more and more people are seeing some of the difficulties in our health system, and they're starting to kind of branch out into more alternative means. And it's not necessarily new age, because some of these things have been around for thousands of years. And so I think it's unique, and we're at a really interesting time because of the healthcare concerns with there's just many problems. And so we just have to continue with what we're doing, and just continue to practice our craft, and so onward we go. So.
And we absolutely need Western medicine. We absolutely need everything they offer. And what would you suggest to that Western provider who might be skeptical to start to, experience this for themselves and see if it is something they can integrate?
Yeah, definitely come on down to the clinic and get a treatment. But it's there's very much many clinical trials, and there's research being done. And so as from an acupuncture standpoint, we're still referencing a book and books that were written 400 BC, and so this medicine has been preserved for thousands of years. This isn't just something that we just developed recently. And so with Western medicine, with the technology of Western medicine, we're able to verify what was once known thousands of years ago. but that's what Western medicine wants, is they want the hard data and the clinical research to support the medicine. And so it's no longer mystical medicine or anything like that. It is now very much evidence-based medicine. And so I think that's what Western medicines are, their doctors are even coming along to understand, okay, now we have all this research, now we can begin to refer out, and now we're beginning to get, we have that now. And so I think that gives confidence to what we do. And so it's, yes, we're still questioned, and there's still more research, of course, to be done. But now with that, the clinical research behind some of this, energy medicine and the meridian system and the manual muscle testing, we can continue to expand the medical field, which is what it's all about. And I think Western medicine, with the pharmaceutical intervention, I just think that they've gotten stuck in their methods. And so I think once they start to branch out, we can really get down to, let's really heal people and really find cures and fixes for many, many diseases. And they're out there, definitely. And it's just a matter of time before we figure it out.
And the results speak for themselves too, right? Like you shared, when your clients come in and you're interacting with their body intelligence and it responds, there's no denying the change that has taken place. So thank you again, Tony, so much for all you do. Is there anything else you want to share before we go?
Just, I guess about muscle testing, it does take a trust in what you're doing, and just immerse yourself. If you're going to start to learn it, take the full class, take the full course. Of course, you can do like at the grocery store, the muscle testing with the cereal and things like that. But there's a deeper application to it, and so that's why learn the complete system and make your assessment off of that, and don't be quick to judge. Don't be quick to judge, because there's a deep philosophy to this type of medicine, and there's just many things that it can be used for. And yeah, applied kinesiology, Chinese medicine, it's a very, very effective way to help people, and that's why I'm in business.
Tony, thank you so much for sharing your story and experiences. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And until next time, embrace your body's brilliance. We'll see you. Bye for now.
Thank you.